G'day folks, this is Rich Burdes here from Brighter Days in Christchurch, sunny, almost wintry New Zealand, with a update to the send summary emails for tasks with dates workflow to allow a slight change where we can now include the name of the person we want to send the email to at the end of the workflow. So in this section here, let's personalize this with a bit more text to show who we are sending the email to, their display name, not their email address. We already get the email address. This is to add how to show it, how to add the name of the person we want to send in the email. Gets a little tricky because if we do it at this stage, what's happened here, if you use this, if you've gone through the workflow already and used it, you'll find that we are looping through, we're getting the unique users or the unique people we're going to send the email to, and then we filter just on that person, so we can see it, but we're not necessarily getting, we're getting the email addresses, we're not necessarily getting the name of the person. And if we put the name of the person in here, say compose under this step, to look at this get items, we get another apply to each. So we want to try and avoid that if we can. So we want to go up to the top so we can get the display name of the user at this step, and then it's really easy to reuse it further down in our email, so it still ensures that we send just one email to each person versus many emails again. So to do this, if you're working with a different system like SQL, who from Kirsten, who asked the question, just adjust this to match what you want. But for us, what we're going to do is first of all extend the select action, data operation action, and I'm going to put in the name of what I want to have. This could be any name, but we're just going to keep it close to what SharePoint is going to give us. And then here in the dynamic content, I want to get single person display name. So you will get names of things showing here in your dynamic content, but I want to get this single person display name in that action there. We are using the classic monitor UI for this because it's the other tutorials in that mode, so this makes it easy to follow along. That's my excuse. Okay, so once we put it in here, what this will do is add this extra node into the array that we pulled through. We don't need to change the unique email action. We're going to do a union where we're going to compare emails, so that will still allow us to get just distinct emails for that particular person, but by default it's going to include this display name as well, right? So we just filter against that, but we bring in that so we can reuse it. But what we do need to do is in the parse JSON action, we do need to add in within here another little snippet, and we're going to basically copy that, put a little comma after our node there, new line, and then rather than task email, we just need to use the same name that we had in our array up here. Have that there, and its display name is a type of string, so it's going to come through as we want. So that covers us. And then we do an apply to each. So every unique item we find in this parse JSON, then we take actions. So just to show how this works, you can add another compose in here. Add the compose. You don't need this, but it's sometimes useful for debugging, especially if you're new to Power Automate and you want to see how things work. It's really useful to do it. And so because we've just added that item up in here, we can see it's going to be coming in here. So if we wanted to compare what we had previously, so items apply to each task email, click on that one. This is the apply to each, and then we can see display names already showing up in the node there. So that's there, works perfectly for us. So items applied to each display name. And then the filtering still happens against the email, so that's completely fine. The email and the HTML text goes in, and then here in our task email message, we can change this. Let's put in there, and then you may not see that item there initially. So if you do a search for outputs, you'll see there, it'll eventually show up in there. So we can put that in, a little comma after that, and then this is the email CSS, and that's the HTML table. But this up here will have the name of the user. So very quickly we've done that. So let's save and test that. And then we should see an email come through, and I apologize to Benji in advance because he's going to get an email from our data source because it's me and him still active on this. So this is running, and we'll just watch this go green, and then we'll open up all the different actions. So it's run through. When we change the select action, you can see here now we can see the task email and the display name coming through in this body. The compose action is still comparing and then reducing down. We've got Rich and Benji coming through, and then the union is still bringing through display name there, which is perfect. Inside the apply to each, there's just 2 emails that are going to be sent to, but we can see this one's going to go to Rich, and it's also going to include the display name. If you want to do a Office 365 search, you could get the given name in that action, but that would require another loop through. And you could do look for a space, but some people might have spaces in their names, their first name, so you're never necessarily going to get it quite right. And different Office 365 tenants might have last name, first name for display name rather than first name, last name. So it's tricky, that part. So yeah, but this will give us a hi Rich Bird S in my email. There we go. And if we look at Benji, we can see Benji's come through as well. Benji, and then the email of Benji there. So that was a quick, very quick review of how to extend the sending summary tasks with dates to allow a name, the display name of the person you want to send the email to make it a bit friendlier, a bit more real, rather than straight table and not much else. So that's how we do it. I hope that's helped Kirsten and the rest of the people out there learning Power Automate. Any questions, please ask in the chat. I'm happy to help. Cheers. Bye.